Hello, Pokemon trainers!
Hello, hello.
Welcome to a new series on the channel called Stance Change. Now, this series is kind of a cheesy name, but I like it a lot. Now, Stance Change is the exclusive ability for Aegislash. He changes stances. So what we're doing in this series is we are debating about a Pokemon-related topic, and then about halfway through, we're going to change stances, we're going to switch sides, and you as the viewer, you can kind of decide which of us has a stronger argument one way or another, and you can kind of vote who wins.
Disagree with our points, if you agree with our points, if you agree with me.
Alright, so this is going to be more like a podcast style video, so I'll try to show something on the screen so it doesn't get very boring, but I mean, this might be fun to listen to maybe if you're at the gym, or maybe if you're just relaxing and playing your games. So if you just have some downtime, you just want to listen to someone talk.
Clean your room.
Clean your room. Yeah, I like listening to stuff while I'm cleaning my room, so get some stuff done, be productive. Let's talk about stance change. Today's episode.
Keep us on in the background.
Yeah, keep us on in the background. I'll play some nice music in the background. Check out the description if you want to know what that is. Today's episode we are debating, because this is hotly contested between the two of us. Is Pokemon Sun and Moon, or are Pokemon Sun and Moon, good games?
And that's obviously subjective.
Yes.
We'll defend our point, our stance.
So here's what's going to happen. In the beginning, I'm going to argue that Pokemon Sun and Moon are good games.
I'm going to say no.
Dieter's going to say they're not. And in the context... Yeah, because Dieter... we'll see. But in the context, we're comparing them to other Pokemon games. So are they good games compared to other Pokemon games?
Yes.
So that's how we're going to base our arguments. And then about halfway through, we're not setting a time right now, but I'll be switching sides. I'll be saying that they're not good games, and Dieter will be saying that they are.
Rebuttal.
And we'll kind of see how that goes, and you can all, again, let us know who wins this debate, who has the better argument. So let's go ahead and
Disclaimer, I'm foreign. So if I don't sound articulate, just kidding.
By the way, he also doesn't really play too many video games.
Yeah, so I'm not like a game reviewer.
Yeah.
So I'm just gonna go based off, what I see, what I think, how I, how I experience the game.
For me, I studied a lot of like literature and art and stuff like that, so I can come at it from that kind of angle. He'll probably be coming at it from a Pokemon fan angle, because he has played all the Pokemon games and he loves Pokemon.
Since I was a Wii-ta.
I don't know what that means in his country.
A Wii-ta.
I'll look it up later. But anyways, so let's start with some opening arguments. Dieter, you go first. I feel like this is
But you go first.
Okay, fine. I'll go first. So, opening statements. For me, I am saying that these are good games. Now, there's a lot to kind of go with, and I didn't rehearse anything.
Yeah, we're winging it.
I'm going to say that the story of Sun and Moon is solid. It's well done. The characters are done really well.
Remember, you have to say all positives.
Yeah, I am gonna. So, the story is good. The characters are great. And I also feel like they kind of did a lot of new things with the game that they hadn't done before. They kind of took some risks that I think really paid off in the end. I'll elaborate on those in a little bit. And then finally, I mean, there's a lot of good things I can say about them. Finally, I do think that they really added a lot of features that make the game so much more convenient. I'll elaborate in a little bit, but I'll start by saying that things like the rideable Pokemon replacing HMs, that is fantastic. Things like, I don't know, I'm actually drawing a blank on some others, but EV training your Pokemon, stuff like that, that's so much easier, and there's some new battle styles as well. So overall, great games, and those are the main reasons why. Dieter, why are these not great games? You can list maybe 3 to 5-ish reasons like I did.
Number one, my hugest gripe. He knows what it is. Maybe some of you know what it is. Maybe some of you can relate. I even saw a meme about this.
Okay.
The stalking.
What?
Okay, the meme I saw, they just talk too much. Lily, how everybody involved in the game, they just talk way too much, and it's just pressing A, B, B, whatever. It's non-stop, and it gets like frustrating to continue on in the game that you just don't want to play. And
I'm not gonna offer anything.
The meme I saw was like, have you seen that meme with like the glasses? Where like they show a picture of glasses, and then like the next picture it's like something blurry, and then the next picture is like they're putting on the glasses, and then
I think so.
And then the next picture it's clear. So it's like glasses, and then it's like blurred out like text, and then it's like they put on the glasses, and then it's Lily. So it's like, yeah, it's just too much talking, and That's my biggest gripe.
Any other reasons why it's not a good game? As an opening argument, or is that your main?
I'll stick with that first.
Oh, that's his only reason.
I'll think about more.
All right, so I guess now it's going to be kind of loose. Maybe as we do more of these, we'll kind of develop a format. But for right now, we'll just kind of go back and forth. So the talking, and I'm debating against him, so I can't agree with this now.
Explain why the talking.
Yeah,
is
that's
good.
true. Okay, so there is a lot of talking in the game. However, it's important. And what they're doing with these characters, I think, and that's my main starting point, I guess, is justified with all the talking. They're actually really developing and fleshing out these characters like they rarely do in Pokemon games. I feel like if you ask me to name a Pokemon character who I feel is complex and worth remembering, I think of someone like N. Because and I think of someone like Silver, the rival in Gold and Silver, the one with red hair, because those are characters that have a lot to them. They're not just a good guy or a bad guy. They're complex. You know, N is a character who you think of him as a bad guy because he's the king of Team Plasma, but then you find out he's like sheltered when he was a kid, and his dad kind of like shelters him and stuff like that. You think of Silver, and he's also troubled because his dad is Giovanni, and he's like stealing Pokemon. You know, so he's.
I didn't know that.
It is. Well, they actually confirm it in Gold and Silver. Or, sorry, Heart Gold and Soul Silver. There's like a little event.
Is Silver... Oh, wait.
Silver's your rival in Gold and Silver. He has the red hair.
Oh,
the one that steals the Pokemon in the beginning. Yeah, he's Giovanni's son.
I did not know that.
His mom is probably like some hot redhead. And
some girl he's never talked.
That's sad.
One night, just kidding.
Anyways, but yeah, so
She's not in the picture.
And I don't know, I'm probably gonna, I don't know if, I shouldn't give away spoilers for Dieter. Wait.
I don't care.
Did you beat the Altar of the Moon or whatever, the part where they play the flutes?
Yeah.
Okay, so he's gotten through basically the
Ask
entire
me
story.
if I even know what you're talking about.
He doesn't read the story, but anyways, with Sun and Moon, what they're doing is they have complex characters like that. You have Gladion, who starts out as kind of like a rival. He's kind of mean to you and How, and then he ends up kind of helping you out and being your friend. And he ends up he's Lily's brother. He's Lucamine's son, and Lily's a character.
Alert.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, the game's been out for 2 months. If you don't want spoilers, then sorry. I'll put that in the beginning. But anyways. And then you have Lily, who, you know, she starts out as this little like weak like girl who you always have to save her, and it is pretty annoying.
And then she puts on a ponytail.
And she says that's her Z move or something like that. But yeah, it is annoying. I do agree. Lily is annoying in the beginning because all she does is talk, and she doesn't add anything. She just wants you to save her. However, she has character development. By the end of it, she's willing to make decisions on her own and to be a stronger person. She decides to go to Kanto to help her mom, and she has the autonomy to make those types of decisions. And I think that that's actually really well done. And a lot of people, for the most part, from what I've seen online, do agree that Lily is a good character. Like the growth in the character. If she had gone the whole game just needing to be saved,
okay,
that would be ridiculous. That would be super annoying. But she does change, and she does kind of develop her own kind of personality and her own abilities. All right, Dieter, do you have any rebuttal to that? Or do you want me to present a point that you can argue?
I would just say that I guess I do. You know, if you appreciate storylines and stories in games, you know, you will like this. And to me, I just like playing the Pokemon part of it. You know, raising them, doing it on my own. You know,
catching.
Yeah, being able to be free, and just being able to play it. And I think this heavy story sort of like, you know, takes away from that, and it just seems more of like a chore.
You're a chore.
I feel like I don't have too much like freedom in this game. It's just like, you know, you get past one point and then there they are talking, and then you get like 5 minutes of game time, and then there they are talking.
Alright, so who do you agree with in this point? Do you believe the story is justified and it's well done? Or do you think it's a little too overdone and it's too much talking and you just want to play the game? Which do you agree with more? I'm interested to see.
Okay, another issue I guess I had with the game is kind of the lack of new Pokemon. And also like how rare these new Pokemon are. You know, for example, Bruxish, 1% catch rate. right? Is that right? Or like
Yeah,
in the
yeah,
water.
yeah. Mhm.
And then just some others are super like rare to get, and like type null you get at the end of the game. And you know, if you're gonna introduce new Pokemon, make them like, you know, accessible and available to use, and to like be able to use from the beginning. And it's just frustrating because they are cool, you know, but it just sucks that like you can't use them early on and enjoy them.
Okay, that's a good point. So I'm actually going to start and preface by saying that I actually agree with Dieter on this point, but because I'm opposed to him here, I'm actually going to come up with some reasons why that's justified. So, I mean, first, and this is a little small fun fact, but something that I realize it's probably really, really obvious, but Silvally, the evolved form of type null, is just type null without the mask. So it's like when it grows attached to you, the mask comes off its face and it gets faster and it gets attached to you. So yeah, I thought that was cool and I just figured that out. But anyways,
I didn't know that.
so there are not that many new Pokemon, and I do love when there are more new Pokemon because you get more options,
Yes.
like Black and White.
It's
And
a new game, new Pokemon.
I would fancy a guess that Black and White is the last Pokemon game that Dieter loved. Black and White, there were like what 120,
Yeah,
130
yeah.
brand new Pokemon.
And they were new from the beginning of the game.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
like you never encountered Pidgeys.
there was
or-
nothing but new Pokemon in that
until
game.
you beat the game. That was fun.
I would argue that while the new Pokemon are a big part of these new games, of course, they are definitely a big part of it, you don't really need too many. You don't need too many.
Arthur Gas.
There's plenty of other aspects to Pokemon aside from just new ones, and it can get overwhelming. That's another point about it. Too many new Pokemon, if there were 120 new Pokemon every single generation, it would probably feel overwhelming very quickly. And so I do appreciate, maybe I do, maybe I don't, maybe I'm just making this up. I do appreciate that there's some variation with how many new Pokemon they come out with each year. First it was 150, then it was 100, then it was like 120, 130, then it was, you know, back and forth. It kind of goes back and
70,
forth.
50.
And people always have arguments against it one way or another. Oh, and in Diamond and Pearl, there's too many evolutions and babies.
I agree.
In Gold and Silver, there's too many babies. In X and Y, there's too many megas that
Yes.
account for it. He's agreeing with me now. And so it allows you to focus on the region and the way the region is created and the mixture. Like, if you appreciate that kind of thing, like, oh, this area here is really kind of like a meadow, so you're gonna find things like Jigglypuffs and like
Ooh.
Shellos, or like some. It's kind of cool to see like the habitats of Pokemon and who they live with. Like, oh, this one's an abandoned shopping center. You're gonna find a lot of ghosts like Haunter, and oh, this one's a cemetery. You can find Litwick and Drifloon, you know, stuff like that, and seeing how these ecosystems
I guess
work.
It connects all of the Poke Worlds, you know, together.
Yeah, it gives it life. Because if you just like every route, you could just battle, you know, Lillipup, whatever, right? Then it can get kind of annoying. But it also shows you like, oh, if I'm encountering Lillipup often in the game, it means Lillipup is common in this region. And I know those are small
Avoid that
things.
region.
Yeah, Lillipup is. But I know that those are kind of lame reasons, and not a lot of people are going to consider that. But I mean, something. Also, with the whole argument that Dieter made about the rare Pokemon, like a lot of new Pokemon that are really rare,
Like Wimpod as well.
it makes you, it gives it a sense of accomplishment. If all of the new Pokemon were really easy to find, then, you know, it just wouldn't feel like if you spend an hour finding that Oranguru, yeah, you're probably going to be a little salty by the end of
And
it,
never use it.
but it gives you a story to
Find
tell.
out it's a terrible nature.
It's an adamant nature. You'll have a story to tell. I spent an hour looking for this monkey, Harambe. Alright, so those are our arguments for Pokemon.
There's many more.
Yeah, there's
but-
plenty more. But let us know who won that side as well. That point was the new Pokemon are rare and there are not
Yeah.
too many of them.
I want
So
more.
yeah, do you agree with Dieter that you want more and or the new ones are too hard to find? Or do you think there's a reason and a good balance for it like I said? Now, time for the stance change. Aegislash's stance change. So, I'm going to say why this game was a bunch of Grimer dung. Dieter's going to say why it's a bunch of Lily kisses.
Lillipup kisses. Lillipup.
Go ahead.
Okay, so I like this game because do we talk about do I talk about your points or your
Let's
points?
try to come up with points
Okay.
that the other person hasn't mentioned.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like how they really stuck with this Alolan, sort of Hawaiian tropical theme. The names of the Pokemon, the designs of the Pokemon, the different islands, the trials. They really chose a theme, stuck with it, and I think they did it justice. In other games, they didn't really have like an overall theme. It was just like a new region, different cities or towns look, different, had different themes, I guess. I keep saying themes. But this one, it was very cohesive from start to finish. You felt like you
By
were.
the way, Dieter's finished.
I'm not finished. You start in this Hawaiian Alolan tropical place and you end in one. And, it was really cool. I really liked it. I really appreciated that. And I think my main point was, like the Pokemon, like, again, with the names and some of the designs, they were very island-like. So that's my positive.
Anything else? Any other positive? Because this is like your opening argument.
Oh.
Any other positive?
Another positive is I was more challenging than previous games. Usually, like the totem battles, they were like higher level. It didn't seem like, a kid's game. I guess it, because I'm 20, in my 20s. And
Believe it or not.
sometimes Pokemon games, they could be like really easy and then they could get boring kind of, and then you have to like try and level them up in lower level wild Pokemon, and it's kind of harder to enjoy that. And in this game it offered, more of a challenge, and it felt like, I did lose Blackout a couple of times.
I did too, yeah.
And in other games, usually don't. So it felt like more of a accomplishment to beat these trials and such.
Okay, good points, but I'll be arguing against them. So my kind of opening statement for why this wasn't quite a good game, it kind of goes off of what Dieter's saying with the region. So the region is just 4 islands. And while you could argue that maybe they feel unique, I didn't really get much of a feeling from any of them. Like, I bet if I questioned a lot of people, I mean, I would know this because I played the game a lot, but like, where was this city located? Who knows? Where was this cave located? Where was Diglett Tunnel located?
I couldn't even name all 4.
Where was Route 14? Which island? See, so the islands, it doesn't quite. I think it's.
Forgot to mention a positive.
You can explain it in a little. So I do appreciate that it's kind of true to the Hawaii that it's based off of, but other regions of Pokemon, you just had one region that you needed to really worry about, and I feel that each region did have its strong points that you could remember. This one has 4 different islands that, which of them is the most memorable? Okay, there's one with a big snowy mountain. What else? What else is there? I don't feel it. So there's really a lot missing as far as the flavor of it and the world around it. Second, Dieter did mention totem battles. Where are the gym battles? I miss the gym battles. I would argue, in the past, I might have argued that some of the gym leaders, they're starting to feel forgettable, and so I do appreciate that they're trying new things here, but you don't battle Kiawe. Who's Kiawe, Dieter? Yeah. You don't battle Kiawe or the girl, Malo? You don't battle them in the story. In order to battle these trial captains, you have to go out of your way. Only a couple of them do anything in the story. Acerola, she raises a couple little kids, even though she's a little kid, and you have to follow her to her trial. What about Mallow, when you have to poke her and green stuff comes out? Sorry, that's rude. Like, what do these characters do? And if they were gym leaders, we'd get more personality to them. And yeah, totem battles are cool, I like them, but replacing gym battles, even though yeah, they are challenging, gyms are one of the biggest selling points of Pokemon. So where are the gym battles? Dieter, disagree with my points.
I was about ready to agree. Okay.
So the region.
The region. I just really liked how they picked a theme and stuck to it. It felt very
It's with ET's legs. He's a monkey. Look how cool.
Okay, sorry.
He is still.
That's ugly. That's scary.
Sorry.
So yes, they really were ambitious with this game. They kind of took a risk. They changed it up. They're trying to evolve Pokemon this game. No pun intended. But they're trying new things and trying not to make it, just another hashed out Pokemon game that again will be forgettable.
Or as Congressional Wombat would say, Pogeyman.
Pokemans. So yeah, they're trying to reinvent Pokemon, trying to bring it up, bring different aspects that they haven't done, and I think it went well. I think, yes, we miss gym leaders, gym battles and such, and we miss, just a one solid region that's all connected with landmarks that stand out rather than these 4 divided islands. But I think it was a good job on their part, Sure, it had flaws, but I think they did it well with the whole reinvention of what a Pokemon region is and new battle, mechanics rather than gym leaders.
Okay, cool. So those are kind of our sides on that topic of the region. So what did you think about the region? Was it not very memorable, or did you feel like it really was and there was a lot to it that you enjoyed? What about the totem battles versus gym leaders? How do you stand on that?
Also, a lowland Pokemon.
Was that another positive?
Well,
for you?
I'm gonna say yes. I really liked how they did bring back older ones, but they did it differently. They changed them. They made most of them better. They brought different types, the way they looked. They could learn different moves, different abilities, and I think that was a plus. If you're gonna bring back older ones, then update them, give them something memorable, something good, something different. So I think Alolan Pokemon were a good thing to this game.
Okay, another preface there. I do really like Alolan Pokemon. I don't like how they were only the old ones from first gen. I do think that there's so much room for possible Alolan Pokemon. There's so many you could do.
It's kind of the same thing with Mega.
There's so many, and you're just gonna cut it off right there. Yeah. Maybe we'll get more Alolan Pokemon in the 3rd installment or the next game, which would be cool, really cool.
Or the next game they have certain region, Alolan, whatever.
Please give me Alolan Smeargle and Alolan Murkrow. But anyways, I have to. So I like Alolan Pokemon, but I'm gonna try to argue against them. It's hard. That's hard because they're awesome. I'm gonna say that Alolan Pokemon, why do we need other forms of a Pokemon, especially one that we don't care about? Who cares about Grimer? Who cares about Sandshrew? Okay, I'm sure a lot of you do, because Sandshrew is kind of a popular Pokemon, but why does Exeggutor's neck have to get longer? The designs of the Alolan Pokemon are actually really stupid. Yeah, okay, let's look at it this way. There's 18 Alolan Pokemon. Marowak, Ninetales, those are cool. Sandslash is fair. It's not amazing, but it's not bad. And then you have a long neck Exeggutor that's a dragon. And then you have a fat-faced Persian and a swollen Persian, a swollen, the dark types, they got swollen. The ones who used to be normal, but they turn dark. I guess when you turn into a dark type, you get swollen because, they're swollen AF. Muck, okay, he's just different colors now. He's still poop, but he's colorful poop. Someone ate a lot of big nets and macarons, and they took a big doo-doo, and voila, Alolan Muck. What else? Who else of the? Because a lot of them are actually pretty stupid. Who else? I was thinking of some. So, Golem. I keep saying Gengar. Golem has a beard now. Okay, where did that come from? Why can a big ball of rocks grow hair on its face? And it looked like a reptile. Oh yeah. Oh my god. Don't get me started about Wiggy Azalea, Diggy Azalea. What is the point of this thing? Supposedly it's metal or it's
wire.
Yeah. What? Why? Who thought that was a good idea? Whoever came up with the design of Diglett, Persian, Alolan, of course, and Exeggutor and Dugtrio and all of those, they probably are out on the streets. Bye. Just kidding.
With Mariah Carey's sound person.
Okay. So, yeah, what do you think of that? What do you think of the Alolan Pokemon? Are they too lame designs? Did they waste a lot of the designs? Or do you appreciate them for what they are and you really hope for more? I think that this is a good point to kind of wrap it up. So those are our big points. Maybe I'll recap the arguments we made right here. But I hope you enjoy this first episode of Stance Change, talking about Pokemon Sun and Moon in general. Do you agree? Which of these points stood out to you the most? Which of these do you agree with? And which of these do you just flat out disagree with? Hopefully we covered a lot, but go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say, if there's some other points you found, that made this game great or made this game terrible, please tell us in the comments.
Yeah, and also, please feel free to leave more suggestions for other topics that we can do in the future. Dieter and I do like to complain a lot about Pokemon. I think it's because we're Pokemon veterans. We've been playing since Red and Blue, like when they actually first came out. And so we've been playing Pokemon for over a decade. Almost maybe 2 decades at some coming up soon, well, in a few years, but still. So we kind of have a lot of complaints, even though we really like the series.
We still love Pokemon. We will still play it.
Yeah.
Just as long as trainers don't fuse with Pokemon like Digimon.
Please, that's gonna happen. Okay, they towed the line with that one with Lusamine. So that's next, everyone. Pokemon, because Digimon, oh my gosh, the people turn into Digimon.
That ruined Digimon.
The last time I watched it, they like digivolve into actual creatures. So I think that's next for Pokemon. When that happens, you will know that Pokemon is as dead as Mariah Carey's career. That's when you know that Pokemon will be on the same level as Mariah Carey's singing career. R.I.P. Dieter, last word.
So yes, that was our biggest battle yet. Just kidding. But yeah, thank you for watching. I hope you like these type of videos. We have many more, and yes, leave some more suggestions, whether we should just talk about, I don't know, a Pokemon or
anything you can think of Pokemon related.
Yes.
Or if you want to hear us talk about Mariah Carey's singing career, there you go.
We can do a stance change on her performance.
Yeah, stance change on any pop culture. Go ahead.
Azalea Banks sacrificing chickens in her closet.
Dabbing. Let us know. We still haven't heard from that crab dab yet.
Bye.